Hello everybody, my name is Spooky and Starfield is right around the corner. Today we're going to be looking at all the things you need to know about Starfield before it's released as we check out this video by Gamespot. I put a link in all the details to Gamespot below. Feel free to go check them out and support them. If you want to see more Starfield breakdowns like this, feel free to subscribe to the channel now and join our Discord so you can submit your own clips of Starfield and have a chance of showing up right here on this channel. Anyways, let's get this thing started.
Left to go before it launches, Bethesda and Microsoft have begun revealing plenty of details about the game and just what it is that you'll be doing inside of its vast cosmos.
Real quick, is anybody else as excited as I am? Because I'm literally about to poop myself.
Here's everything to know about Starfield. Starfield is set in the year 2330. Long after man conquered the stars. In fact, humans are so well adapted to space travel, they've managed to settle a whopping 50 light-year radius around their own solar system.
That's a massive range, dude. 50 light-year radius. That means from Earth, 50 light years in every single direction, they've settled. That's insane.
This area is referred to as the Settled Systems. That's over 80,000 times the distance from Earth to Pluto. While you'll be able to explore seemingly every nook and cranny of these systems, the main hub of Starfield is New Atlantis, capital city of the United Colonies and home to Constellation, the last group of space explorers. Starfield begins with your character, the Spacefarer, receiving an invitation to join this organization after stumbling across...
You know, this kind of gives me like Moana vibes, by the way. Like Constellation, like they went out and they explored and they found everything and then they got comfortable and then nobody else explored space. And then Constellation is like Moana. You know, she's like the Moana of the Motunui tribe, right? I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that in some way, but essentially that's at least the vibe I'm getting. And then Constellation's like the ones that's like, no, there's more out there. We're explorers. We're meant to explore. I don't know. I'm just making just weird references, connections. I don't know.
That the group covets. However, the United Colonies aren't the only spacefaring society. There is also the Freestar Collective, who call Aquila City their home. While these two factions are no longer at war with one another, the end of their conflict is still fresh, and their peace an uneasy one. To find out more details about the long history predating Starfield's story, Bethesda has a really in-depth timeline on its website.
They do. I don't recommend reading it. It's a little confusing on how it's phrased and the time skips and like the timeline, in my opinion, was not made in a way that's very user friendly. So I would recommend going and checking out maybe a lore video or something. I'm sure there's plenty of them out there at this point. I would not recommend checking out this timeline. I've tried reading it like 3 times. There's bits and pieces, but I always find myself like going back like, wait, what? Like, what? Did I miss something along there? So if you have not read the story yet, I recommend go watch a video. If this video doesn't describe it, go watch a video that does. I think it's definitely worth it.
In addition to the United Colonies and Freestar Collective, there are also a few other notable groups Bethesda has mentioned: Ryujin Industries, the Crimson Fleet, and House of Varun. As you might be able to infer based on their names, Ryujin Industries is a mega corporation, the Crimson Fleet is a band of space pirates, and House of Varun is, well, a religious cult, to put it bluntly, based on the game's intense focus.
Bro, if you guys have not heard the story about like the serpent that is going to envelop the universe, it's essentially what this religion is based on. And reading the backstory of it is 100% worth it. I definitely recommend checking it out because I think that religion's going to be really interesting in this in the playthrough that we're going to be having here soon.
On role-playing, it seems safe to say you'll be able to join up and or get into all sorts of trouble with these folks. During 2021's Tokyo Game Show, Howard revealed that Starfield has more than 150,000 lines of dialogue, which is more than any
150,000 lines. I don't think I ever heard the official amount of dialogue lines there are. That's insane. 150,000 individually recorded lines of dialogue for these characters. Man, can you imagine how much time and manpower that took to record all? Ignore whether they're good or not. just the sheer scale of that is insane. I'm so excited for it. They had to have had a huge team for dialogue.
Bethesda game before it. While your character is not voiced, it seems like just about everyone else is, seemingly making for a very immersive experience. We should also mention that
I prefer it that way. I didn't really like Fallout 4 when they introduced the voice that you had. I feel like it did take away from the type of character that you were making, because a lot of times if you wanted to be like, you know, like a badass, you know, like Fallout 4's voice, like default voice for the guy is not really much of a badass. I'm not gonna lie. So it's like you're very limited. He was very like typical protagonist, you know, and I feel like a lot of people probably aren't gonna be starting out like that. A lot of people like taking the villain route now. So I'm glad that they left it voiceless.
companion characters make a return in Starfield, with Vasco the utility robot confirmed as one of them.
Our boy.
Last, but certainly not least, Howard also announced the main campaign should take around 30 to 40 hours to complete. To put that into perspective, Fallout 4's main campaign takes around 30 to beat, while Skyrim takes about 25.
I was a little underwhelmed by that. I mean, I know it is just the main story, and it's going to be a little bit longer than Skyrim and Fallout. But again, with the sheer scale of it, I mean, I don't know how much time they've dumped into like the factions and side quests, but I feel like in this universe, they had an opportunity to make a really, really deep quest line. But, you know, not that I'm like complaining about it. I was expecting this game to be like the Bethesda, like them going all in on the world immersion, like true storytelling. Because I don't know if we're ever gonna even get a Starfield 2. They could just be releasing DLCs for it the entire time. But I don't know. I was hoping for which again, it's a long story. Don't get me wrong. I'm not pointing any guns at any devs or anything. It's a long story. I was expecting more though, at least for the scope of the game.
Starfield will be Bethesda Game Studios' first new IP in 25 years, but the company has been exploring the idea of making a space game since as early as 1994, according to the studio's director.
Chat, I'm 29 years old. That's the year that I was born.
Todd Howard. Several projects had stops and starts over the years before the invention of Starfield, such as an exploration of games in the Traveller TTRPG and Star Trek franchises, although none of these ever materialized. The name Starfield was trademarked by the company in 2013, and development spun out from two core elements, the first being the design of the game, dubbed by the team as NASA-punk, that despite being futuristic, finds its roots.
I love the aesthetic of Starfield so far. I have fallen in love. I love that they call it NASA punk too, because it really is NASA punk, right? It's got that retro space vibe, but futuristic at the same time with like the grittiness and everything. I don't know. Let me know if you guys agree with that. I have fallen in love with the aesthetic of Starfield. They nailed it. The design team just absolutely killed it on this one.
In the designs of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. The other was a detailed, fictional timeline that Bethesda's writers devised, detailing the history of the game's world from our modern day to 300 years into the future, setting the stage for Starfield's story. As mentioned before, highlights from this timeline can be found on Bethesda's website. Active development of the game started around the time of Fallout 4's launch in 2015. In September 2020, Bethesda released a statement about how much the acquisition by Microsoft and the release of its new Xbox Series X and S were impacting the work the studio was doing on its games.
Is anybody else going to be terrified of these random creatures on these planets? They keep showing them as like, look at all these creatures that you can discover and catalog. And like every single one I see, I'm like, dude, this is stuff I've seen in my nightmares. Like I wake up in the middle of the night in a heat sweat because I had a dream about one of these creatures coming and eating me.
In that statement, Howard said the new technology had led to, quote, our largest engine overhaul since Oblivion. As such, the game will utilize Creation Engine 2, a revision of the studio's in-house game engine. Microsoft is also talking a big game for the state of Starfield. As compared to some of its infamously buggy game launches, Starfield will have the, quote, fewest bugs of any Bethesda game ever shipped, according to Xbox Game Studios boss Matt Booty. Doom Eternal developer id Software also helped Bethesda out during development, but surprisingly, it wasn't for combat in Starfield. The studio assisted Bethesda on the graphics side of Starfield, as some id Tech elements were used in the game's creation engine.
Alright, let's see some gameplay.
Starfield, at its core, shares a lot of similar gameplay with previous Bethesda Game Studios games, such as Fallout 4. The game is an RPG that can be played in either...
It looks pretty good, and they've mentioned that it's more like Oblivion than it is like Skyrim. When they initially said Skyrim in space, they've clarified that it's closer to what Oblivion is like, and I don't know about you guys, but Oblivion was my favorite Bethesda game, and I am so excited to see what an updated Oblivion in a brand new world is going to look like.
First or third person, with the player utilizing both weapons and words to progress. However, there is a lot that is new about Starfield 2. As its name suggests, you'll be...
Starfield 2? I haven't even played the first one.
stepping out into the stars and the planets that orbit them, with literally over 1,000 worlds, moons, and spaceships to explore. Many will be procedurally generated and ripe for exploration. Others, such as the desert moon of Crete, lie somewhere in the middle, with outposts occupied by treacherous space bandits. Your space explorer is formed in a character creator, with the ability to give them a variety of backgrounds and traits that you are able to choose from, based on...
I'm going to be spending at least 2 hours on my first character. Like going through each one, finding out which abilities and attributes work well together, just seeing what they look like, developing a character sheet. Like, I'm going to nerd out so hard on this first character. I know I'm going to do it. And then eventually 10 hours into the gameplay, I'm going to somehow find myself as a stealth archer. I don't know how it's going to happen. I'm going to start off as like a merchant or something. And then 10 hours into the game, all of a sudden I'm going to have a bow in my hands and I'm going to be sneaking around sniping people. I don't know why, but it's going to happen.
On your choices, your character will have their own unique set of talents and flaws that can make your intergalactic adventure truly your own. Your character will explore the galaxy in their ship, which can be modified in numerous ways with the ability to swap out different parts to fit your needs. Want something focused on speed and firepower? Strip it down to the bare essentials and strap the best weapon modules you can afford to. Want to haul a bunch of cargo? You can build a ship that is literally made almost entirely of storage containers. But don't worry.
This is the kind of stuff you do. You throw on some lo-fi music, you know. You make some coffee, you throw on some lo-fi music, and you just build ships. You know, you build your ship or you build your base, and all of a sudden 4 hours have went by and you've made a beautiful ship. And you're like, wow, I haven't even picked up a gun. I launched this game and I was just building a ship the whole time, and now I gotta go, and I had a blast. You know? Like, that's what I'm thinking is gonna happen.
You're not restricted to one ship, as you can build out an entire fleet with a variety of ships to serve your different needs. As you explore the cosmos discovering new worlds, you can create outposts to expand and cement your mark on the galaxy. Like ships, these outposts can be modified to meet specific desires, such as creating a luxurious home to rest your head, a bunker to store all your loot, a space to mine resources, or all of the above. On different worlds, you won't be able to get around in a vehicle such as a space rover, but you can do so with a boost pack. Worlds also have different gravity, which will change your jump height, hang time, and how far you can boost.
I'm kind of curious to see how this functions. If it's going to be like a scale type thing to where you can have like low gravity, high gravity, medium gravity, no gravity kind of thing, or if it's going to be like, it could be anywhere. So I don't know how much, like, the concept is cool. I don't know how I feel about it being an inconsistent experience. So when I go into a world and like every world I have a little bit different of a gravity. Again, I don't know how much it's affect the gameplay. I'm sure they've trial tested this and I'm sure it's not a big deal. But when I hear that, I'm thinking like, okay, so I'm going to have to get like readjusted on every single planet. Is that going to be something that I enjoy, or is that going to be something that really kind of bugs me or like takes away from the experience? So I'm like, oh, now I got to figure out how far I can jump pack or, you know, whatever.
And in zero gravity space, you can fly around freely, and shooting guns with kinetic shots will cause you to be pushed backward. And while Bethesda hasn't spoken to it at all, a gameplay trailer teased force-like powers that the character will seemingly be able to utilize.
The main protagonist with special magical powers. That doesn't sound like a Bethesda title. Nah, they wouldn't do that.
Starfield releases on September 6th on Xbox and PC. The standard edition costs $70 or is included with a Game Pass subscription. The $100 premium edition not only includes...
Which again, do that. If you guys are wondering whether you should buy money on Starfield, sign up for Game Pass. It's a month, and right, isn't it $1 for the first month? You can play Starfield for $1. If you guys are not on Game Pass right now and you just want to play Starfield, sign up for Game Pass. Pay $1. You can do it. I'm pretty sure you can do it on console, right, on Xbox, but you can also do it on PC on the Microsoft Store. Pay the $1. Play Starfield. If you love it, then cancel your subscription and buy Starfield. You know, you can, and then you want to buy the premium edition or whatever to play it early. Use the $1. Get that's a no-brainer. You get a bunch of other games. I'm not. This is not sponsored. I'm just saying, if you guys are deciding, I don't know if I want to spend that much money on Starfield, do the Game Pass. Like pull that out. Like they're gonna try to get you hooked on the Game Pass, so you like constantly pay for it. But if you think that you got the willpower and you're like, nah, this isn't for me, cancel it after that first month. You just spent $1 to play Starfield. Like, that's insane. That's crazy.
Some cosmetics, a digital soundtrack and art book, and eventual access to the game's first story expansion, Shattered Space, but early access starting on September 1st. If you are a Game Pass subscriber, it will cost you $30 to upgrade to this version of the game. There is also a $300 Constellation edition of the game. This includes everything that the Premium Edition does, including early access, but also a steel case and a signature collector's item.
I missed out on this. I don't know if they're in stock again. They came in stock for a little bit, but I missed out on the initial purchase of this. It was $300. Now that I already have the game, I'm probably not going to be buying this because I don't need another copy of the game, and I wouldn't really justify that with the $100, with the $300 in total. But this watch looks dope. The watch looks dope. The patch obviously nice. The case looks sick. I feel like I want to nerd out on this so bad, but I gotta hold it.
As previous Bethesda Game Studios titles have done. This time around, that means a replica of the watch that the character will wear in-game, as well as its storage case. This watch will obviously tell you the time, but can also be connected to your phone, although the specifics on what it can display...
Wouldn't that be sick if it could connect to your character in-game? So like, if you wanted to see some information, you could wear the watch and it would connect to your game character, and it could show you like the gravity and like the air quality and the temperature and like how much resources you have left. Wouldn't that be insane? Oh, I'm sure. I know they have the technology
for it. The game
at
all are currently unknown at the time of recording. Xbox also put out some additional Starfield accessories, such as a controller and headset, that are already released, although frequently out of stock. And coming in October, rather than a limited edition console, Xbox is putting out a wrap for the Series X console to make it look as such. Thankfully, this is a lot more affordable than buying an entirely new console at $50. And that's everything to know about Starfield. Whether you're jumping into early access, Chronomark watch strapped to your wrist, or waiting till September 6th for its standard release, this is easily Xbox's biggest release in recent memory, if not ever. For more on Starfield, including our review, guide content, and some truly special secret coverage we have planned, stick right here on Gamespot.
Like I said, chat, Gamespot, if you guys want to go subscribe to Gamespot, fantastic video that they put together here. I'm amped, but let me know what you're looking forward to most in the comments below. Again, my name is Spooky. If you do want to see more stuff like this, feel free to subscribe. I'm going to be posting daily Starfield on this channel, as well as a couple others. If you guys do want to join my Discord, again, you can submit your own clips to be featured in our community clip night, as well as any pictures of your base, your character to share with us. I'll be watching all those here on some videos, reviewing them, checking them out. So if you guys want a chance at being in one of those, again, join the Discord. We'd love to have you guys over there. Anyways, have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.